In all walks of life, there are few things more inspiring than real-life rags to riches stories, and this is especially true in the sport of mixed martial arts. Back then, it was unclear whether the UFC world would survive another year, let alone provide a decent income for the athletes who put their lives on the line in the octagon. However, as the sport has risen in prominence, we have seen an increasing number of examples of stars who have millions fighting on the sport's grandest stage. In today's video, we will be looking at 10 of the biggest rags to riches UFC champion stories. But before that guys, please do well to like and subscribe to this video. With that done, let's get started. Number 10. Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz won the WEC bantamweight title in 2010 and successfully defended it twice, boosting his career record to 17-1, but he was still struggling financially. Cruz's eat, train, sleep lifestyle began to pay off when the UFC created a bantamweight division. However, disaster struck just as Cruz was about to win millions in a mega trilogy battle with his old adversary, Uriah Faber at UFC 148, with a series of career-threatening knee injuries keeping the star out of action for nearly 3 years. Cruz managed to not only keep his head above water during that time, establishing himself as one of the top analysts in the game on Fox Sports, but also finally returned to action looking better than ever and reclaimed his title. Now, the UFC superstar commands a whopping $350,000 per fight. Number 9. Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, who could not afford an education or food at just 12 years old, worked in a sand quarry. He soon began to fantasize about being a boxer. The dream, however, would necessitate Francis to travel. Francis Ngannou first fled to Morocco and then entered Spain illegally by sea, where he was apprehended immediately. During his journey, the now millionaire swallowed money wrapped in plastic to avoid being plundered. He was arrested for illegal immigration and fought rodents for leftover food. After being released, he went to Paris and slept on the streets before finding a gym that would train him for free. When Francis Ngannou met his MMA coach Didier Carmont in 2015, his UFC career began and he fixed all of his financial troubles, but his dream didn't end until he won the heavyweight title. Francis Ngannou not only won the UFC heavyweight title, but he also became a millionaire UFC fighter, earning $730,000 per fight. Number 8. Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos was 10 years old when he started doing jobs and attending school in the small town of Caiçador in Brazil, to help his struggling single mother to put food on the table for their family. However, living in extreme poverty only appeared to make the young Dos Santos will to achieve a better life for himself and his loved ones stronger. JDS stepped into an MMA gym for the first time in 2006. In just over 2 years, Cigano made it to the UFC, where he went on to a 9-fight winning streak, including earning the heavyweight title against Cain Velasquez at UFC on Fox 1 in front of 8.4 million viewers, a UFC record to this day. JDS has earned several $million over the course of his career and currently earns $400,000 per fight with additional pay-per-view and sponsorship deals. Number 7. Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping's first attempt to make a living from martial arts failed because, despite being the British light heavyweight champion, he couldn't support himself and his small family. Bisping's life may have ended there, but he went on to work at slaughterhouses, demolition businesses, factories, and a variety of other occupations such as postman, plasterer, and upholsterer. He eventually found his way into MMA, but fighting for UK promotions left him struggling to pay his bills, and he would sometimes sleep in his van to train at a gym in another city. In 2006, he won the Ultimate Fighter Season 3 to earn a UFC contract and become the UK's first significant MMA star. And in 2016, he realized his aim of becoming the world middleweight champion, making over $6 million in stated basic pay and incentives over the years, while simultaneously working as a commentator for Fox Sports and branching out into acting, ensuring that he will never have to sleep in his car again. Number 6. Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz has long been a UFC fan favorite. Diaz refused to fight again in late 2013 until the UFC improved or tore up his contract. With the UFC refusing to cooperate, he sat out for a year before reluctantly returning to the action for the same pay as before. Diaz tried taking matters into his own hands once more in late 2015, this time calling out the sport's biggest star, Conor McGregor, in a famous, hate-filled rant in the octagon following a major win on Fox. McGregor was scheduled to face Rafael dos Anjos, the lightweight champion at the time, at UFC 196, but when he was forced to withdraw due to injury on just 10 days' notice, it was Diaz who asked to step in on short notice, pocketing a cool $500,000 for his trouble. Diaz stunned the world by being the first fighter to defeat McGregor in the octagon in what would become the UFC's highest PPV history with 1.6 million buys. Diaz made sure to hold out for a big paycheck at UFC 202, commanding not only a $2 million basic contract, but also a cut of the record-breaking 1.7 million buys, reputedly earning a whopping $10.5 million on the night. Number 5. Anderson Silva. In his childhood, Silva worked at McDonald's before turning to MMA and racking up an 11-2 record before a falling out with the legendary Shoot Box team in 2003, combined with the Pride organization abruptly giving him the cold shoulder, leading the Spider to become disillusioned with the sport. Silva considered returning to McDonald's or running a car wash in Curitiba, but Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira refused to let such a gifted fighter go to waste and helped him get his fighting career back on track. After signing with the UFC a few years later, Silva could do no wrong, rapidly earning the middleweight championship and defending it a record 10 times in the next 7 years, solidifying his legacy as a living legend. Silva's basic per fight salary reached $800,000 during his career while headlining several events with over 1 million PPV sales, making him a millionaire many times over. And being one of Brazil's most famous sporting icons has led to lucrative sponsorships with major brands such as Nike, Burger King, and Budweiser. Number 4. Miesha Tate. When Miesha Tate decided to forego medical school in order to become a professional fighter in 2007, women's MMA was still in its infancy. Tate and her fiance Brian Caraway, a future UFC fighter, sacrificed a lot while following their ambition, living for 2 years in a 22-foot RV on a property that provided them access to a gym anytime they needed it, living fight to fight for little money. That hard work paid off a few years later when she became Strikeforce's bantamweight title, which led to a high-profile fight with emerging star Ronda Rousey in 2012, which she lost by armbar. A year later, the UFC officially allowed women to compete in MMA, and it changed Tate's life forever. She went on to become WMMA's second biggest star, eventually winning the bantamweight title in 2016. Tate subsequently headlined the historic UFC 200 event, where her base salary was an amazing $500,000, with a champion's cut of the rumored 1.2 million PPV buys, earning her millions extra that night. Number 3. Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo is an example of a fighter who ascended from obscurity to become an MMA superstar. Growing up in the Manaus favelas, Aldo had little more than a roof over his head and had to rely on the generosity of others to train in martial arts. Aldo worked double shifts in construction in his teens to save up enough money to fly to Rio to train at the legendary Nova União gym. Aldo, who arrived with only one bag of clothes and no money, slept in the gym at night and ate only once a day. Aldo's extraordinary sacrifices paid off as he began to amass an excellent winning record, leading him to become a WEC champion and then to the UFC as the World Featherweight title. His biggest payout though came at UFC 194 in late 2015 when he finally faced off against his rival Conor McGregor in the most extensively promoted battle in UFC history. Aldo was defeated in just 13 seconds, but with a base salary of $400,000, Scarface would never have to worry about his next meal. Number 2. Ronda Rousey. Even before her MMA career, Ronda Rousey made history when she became the first American woman to win an Olympic medal in judo, claiming bronze in Beijing in 2008. Rousey quit judo after the Olympics, and with only $10,000 in prize money, it wasn't long before the 21-year-old was doing a variety of part-time jobs, including bouncer, bartender, and cocktail server to make ends meet. Rousey was living out of her beat-up Honda Accord at one time before moving into a modest 12x12 studio apartment after making the fatal decision to pursue a career in MMA. The sport was a perfect fit for Rowdy, and as she began arm-barring opponents left, right, and center, it became clear that she had all it took to be a star. Because of the attention she received, UFC resident Dana White decided to create a women's division. The sky was no longer the limit for Rousey, and she took the UFC by storm, quickly becoming the main attraction as she went on a 6-fight winning streak as their bantamweight champion. Rousey's fame expanded with each fight, as did her bank account, leading to roles in blockbuster films including The Expendables 3, Furious 7, and Entourage, a best-selling autobiography, significant endorsement deals, magazine features, and talk show appearances. By 2015, Rousey had become a global superstar, one of the top 10 highest-paid female athletes in the world. Number 1. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's rapid rise to fame and money in the UFC is without a doubt one of the most extraordinary stories in combat sports history. Though he was a 2-division champion in the UK organization Cage Warriors, where he made his UFC debut on Fuel TV in 2013, he was broke and he was living under his parents' roof at the time. Since then, the notorious captivating demeanor and propensity for backing up his words with violent action in the octagon have proven to be an alluring mix that has earned him the sport's biggest star. Along the way, he became the first UFC fighter to hold 2 championships at the same time, and he twice broke the UFC's pay-per-view record in 2016. Conor McGregor made millions. Not bad for a fighter who nearly quit MMA to become a plumber. Thank you for watching to the end. If you found this video interesting, please do well to like and subscribe to this channel for more.